Usually, I like to open up my Doctor Who videos on a lighter note, but today I want to talk about my Cyberman video where I appear really negative. Now, for the past year, I've been progressively liking New Who less and less as time went on. I had bad memories of many episodes and characters. While I have preferred the classic series for years, and I still do, I became increasingly negative about New Who. But why? Well, I think that I have figured out. The internet is a very negative place, with so much negativity, especially since I would just spend my time watching classic Who anyway. It was easy to read about New Who being bad and not watching it forget how good it could be. So I want to apologize to anyone who hates what I said in that video, though I still stand by most of it. And I want to apologize to the people, particularly my brother, Who Fan 12, who had to put up with my negativity. I honestly feel a bit weird now coming from before the pilot, not particularly liking New Who, to after the pilot, remembering how brilliant New Who can be. Thanks for putting up with me, and on to the review. Hello viewers, 64 Studios 101 here, and I would like to welcome you to my review of The Pilot, the first episode of Series 10 of Doctor Who. Before we begin, I should warn you, spoilers are ahead. Don't watch this video if you haven't seen the pilot unless you want to be spoiled. Now that I've given my warning, we can begin. Essentially, the plot is that the Doctor has been working at a college, or as the British would say, a university, for several years with Nardo helping. He is guarding a mysterious vault on the college campus, which is discovered by cafeteria worker Bill Potts after the Doctor notices that she comes to his lectures and starts tutoring her. Bill, meanwhile, develops a crush on another girl named Heather, only to have this girl become merged with an evil sentient puddle. The Doctor must save Bill and defeat the puddle. After revealing the TARDIS to Bill, the Doctor takes it through time to try to evade Heather and see how powerful she is, because I don't think I mentioned that Heather is following Bill. Heather is able to follow and continues to do so wherever the TARDIS lands, until the Doctor realizes that the last thing she did before becoming the puddle was promise Bill that she wouldn't leave without her. This is why Heather is following her, so when Bill tells her she can leave, Heather disappears. The Doctor meanwhile decides that he will take Bill as his new companion. As this may sound like, it, as far as the Doctor Who script goes, is a pretty straightforward plot, and a fun one as well. So the episode introduces Pearl Mackie as Bill. Now, the friend from the future, which we got last year, introduced her for the first time technically, and she seemed just like Amy and Clara in every way. Now, Amy and Clara are two different characters, but they are both feisty, tough, rather sarcastic, etc. When I heard that we were getting yet another modern-day companion, I wasn't very excited, especially when she was just like Amy and Clara in every way as mentioned. Actually, though, she was quite fun and interesting in the pilot, and her less sarcastic and feisty character is a good change of pace. This is another companion introduction where the episode focuses on this introduction, and it is executed better than most. Seriously, it seems like all the trailers just took all of her worst lines and used them when they are actually not representative of her character. A few minutes of relative silence at the beginning of the episode make an interesting opening, and although the 12th Doctor once again playing his electric guitar really wasn't necessary, I still enjoyed his introduction. Capaldi is not quite like the Dark Doctor he was in Series 8, or the annoyingly similar to Matt Smith and how silly he was Doctor in Series 9. Instead, he, or perhaps the writers, have found a nice middle ground. He's not too serious and he's not too silly either. This worked really well, actually, bringing the best of both worlds, if you will. I also really liked that Bill didn't have any pictures of her mother, so the Doctor presumably went back in time and took some for her. That's quite a poignant scene. Matt Lucas is his best yet as Nardole, not making nearly as many lame jokes and actually having funny lines. Though honestly, he doesn't do much in this episode. Still, he isn't credited in Doctor Who magazine as being in thin ice, and I actually find myself wanting him to be in it. Naro's the first, and currently the only recurring alien companion in Nuku, and the only one not from modern Earth, so that might have to do with it. Overall, the three main characters are outstanding, though. But what of the actual story? It's not the greatest story in all of Doctor Who history, but it is quite fun. The monster, which is essentially the puddle of alien oil, is another example of writer and showrunner Stephen Moffat trying to turn ordinary things into scary monsters. Let's see. With varying success, he's done this with gas masks, statues, shadows, cracks, dreams, clockwork, snow, Wi-Fi, memory, and now puddles. Sorry if I forgot something that he's made scary. Anyway, the puddle is not his most successful scary monster, but the scene where it follows Bill home and hides in her bedroom is genuinely quite creepy, and though we know slightly less about the villain than I would like, it is still quite a good one. The plot is nice and slow-paced, with as much focusing on just Bill and the Doctor as it is focusing on the monster. I liked the chase through time, which incidentally reminds me of The Chase a bit, though I didn't particularly like that the puddle was essentially a TARDIS that could easily travel in time and was invincible. The plot twist where the puddle is actually just looking for a companion sort of worked, but why did it try to, practically kill Bill earlier? Hey, I just referenced a movie that has the Green Hornet theme in it. That can't be a bad thing, can it? Anyway, the subplot between the Puddle/Heather and Bill was surprisingly well executed for the most part, and it's good that no big deal was made about Bill having a crush on Heather. Ironically, many fans, and myself included, think that Bill and Heather are probably a reference to the first Dr. William Bill Hartnell and his wife Heather, but reportedly William Hartnell was hardly the most tolerant person in the world. Anyway, it might have been a bit better if we saw more evidence of Bill and Heather really caring about each other, but, it still works for the most part, I think. Now for the story arc that I have set up. I have mixed feelings about this a bit. Like a hybrid, you might say, but no seriousness. So far it seems much better than, most other new story arcs. It's a lot better than just being constantly reminded of the story arc, with no real progress being made until the finale, like with, say, the Series 8 and 9 story arcs as an example. Hopefully we'll get hints about what's in the vault, why the Doctor's been at the university for so long, what promise he made, and to who the promise was. Not just a reminder of this mystery in each episode. I'm not saying they should reveal everything before the finale, but I would like there to be more than Dr. Nardo just acting mysterious about the vault for a couple minutes every episode, and Bill wondering what's inside it. I feel I should address the Dalek and Movellan scene as well. Perhaps this means that we won't see the Daleks in another full and lackluster Dalek story, but I'm a bit conflicted with this actually, because while I would like there to be no big Dalek story in Series 10, I really want Capaldi to have a good Dalek story, which I really don't think Into the Dalek or the Magician's Apprentice/The Witch's Familiar qualify as. The scene with the Daleks and Movellan supposedly takes place during the Dalek-Movellan War, according to Moffat. However, if this is the case, why are the Daleks the bronze design instead of the grey design? I suppose there could be Daleks from the future who have come back in time to try to change the outcome of the Movellans winning, or perhaps it isn't actually the Dalek-Movellan War and the Movellans are from afterwards in another war with the Daleks. Then again, Moffat also said that these Movellans are somehow earlier and more human in Doctor Who magazine, but they're really exactly the same as the destiny of the Daleks Movellans, so I don't know. Now onto the music. I feel like Murray Gold has been reusing music a lot, too much in recent Doctor Who episodes, but he had quite a good score for this one. The music that was reused was actually used well, and the scene with Claire's theme was quite a touching moment that didn't feel out of place. As I mentioned in my last review, I am someone who regularly composes, plays, and listens to music, so I like to think that I know enough about music to recognize the good from the bad. The references with the Movellans were good, as were the classic Sonic Screwdrivers and the River Song and Susan pictures that the Doctor had. Everyone has mentioned that this episode is a good way to start the series if you haven't seen it before, and I must say that I agree. The episode contains many great references to other stories, both classic and new, that fans will appreciate, but people just getting into the show can enjoy it without getting the references. Plus, it has TARDIS archives in it. How can it be bad? He's a good channel. This episode certainly does show what Doctor Who, particularly the new series, is like, I think. Now, if only they would stop discontinuing the classic DVDs of, episodes like Genesis of the Daleks over here in America, eh? Alright, I think I've said my piece. The pilot is a pretty great episode filled with fun, as well as obscure references. The companions and the doctor are the best we've seen them in a while, and the monster is a good example of the scary monsters everyone who hasn't seen the show has heard about. The plot isn't too rushed, and the story arc is the best we have seen in ages. Though not perfect, the sheer fun of the episode mostly makes up for its mistakes. I give the pilot 8 out of 10. Oh yeah, I might as well talk about the next time and coming soon trailers as well. It's V's emoji! It's still a stupid line, though of course I actually like Bill now, so I'm sure she'll be better for the most part. More on that line in my review of Smile, which other than the emoji robots, doesn't look absolutely awful. The coming soon trailer was pretty great, and did of course has Missy, who, well, we'll see how she is. It also has the Mondasian Cyberman, as mentioned in my negative video about them returning, and the John Sim Master. Sure, I said I didn't like John Sim's Master, but he has a goatee, like Delgado and Ainley! Yay! Well, I hope you enjoyed my review. Next time, be there. Enough said.